Hi, hello everybody. It's Sophie Mahir from the Artists Marketing Academy, coming to you today from another really warm summer's day here in Perth, Australia. Now you can see behind me that actually my studio space looks really bare today. The last time I did this video, there was a painting here, there were paintings in the background, and now you can see absolutely nothing because I've just actually delivered the whole lot to a gallery and just about to open up a joint show this coming Friday. So super exciting, but now suddenly I'm positioning my camera and actually we've nothing to look at but blank walls. So I apologise for my slightly blank background today. Now, as I said, my name is Sophie Mahir. For those of you that haven't come across me yet, what I do is I help my fellow artists to get great with their marketing and social media, build a solid, stable, profitable business, and spend every day doing what they love. And without further ado, I'm going to dive into today's video. Now, today's video is called how to get your vision, mission and purpose as part of your artist business plan. Now, for those of you that are regular watchers, you will know that this is video 2 in a 12-part video series. So much like Netflix, which we all love to binge watch, if you're watching this later in the day and it's not live but it's pre-recorded, then you should be able to binge watch maybe even all 12 episodes. But at this point, this is live today, and last time I talked about why have a business plan in the first place. Why, as artists, do we actually need to do something that sounds absolutely hideous? It sounds like the one task that we absolutely don't want to be doing in our day, and we'd much rather, of course, be in the studio creating and making. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I absolutely suggest that you go back and look for video number 1. It'll all be in the same playlist as this. You're finding this video. And watch that video when you've completed this one. Now today, as I said, we're talking about the vision, mission and purpose as part of your artist business plan. Now for me, I think this is the single most important part of putting together your plan. And who here watching would agree that it's the part, if you are doing a business plan, it's very often the part that just gets thrown out because you look at it and think, oh, I'm not really sure, I'll come back to that later. And I'm going to suggest to you that you don't do that, that you actually don't do anything until you've tackled this bit. Now, it's a really simple 3-part process that I'm going to walk you through today. Part 1, of course, is the vision, part 2 is the mission, and part 3 is the purpose. Now, when I've taught this topic in one-day workshops, what I find is that people get very confused around the mission part. So I'm going to walk you through all 3 steps so you have total clarity on what each one of those means for you. Now, I also hope that by the time you're watching this, you're going to find a link below to my fabulous template, which you can infill, which has exactly got all the things that I'm talking about. So you can actually just download it, print it off and fill it all out. So first of all, let's talk about creating a vision. Now, as artists, you would think we'd be really good at doing this, but of course, it's not a vision for maybe what we're creating next on the canvas. Now, that part might be easy. This part I'm talking about actually is the vision for your artist practice, your artist business. And so here I'm going to give you a few suggestions. And I find that most people, as I say, get stuck on this. They say, oh, I don't really know. I know what I want right now, but I don't want to think into the future. So the vision really can be 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter how far into the future, but it's the big picture vision. What is it you see for yourself? What direction do you want to take? Where do you want to go? For example, if you're a painter, is your vision to be perhaps represented in 5 or 10 galleries and to be constantly supplying them new work? Maybe your vision is to be in your studio and to have somebody else selling all your work. Isn't that a lovely idea? Maybe you offer workshops and your vision is to have fully booked workshops, to have somebody maybe that working with you who can do all that admin stuff that you don't want to do. Maybe your future vision is to have your own space, your own bespoke studio that you maybe teach out of or open up to the public. Maybe you want to open a gallery or a shop. Or maybe your business is built around online and you want to make products and services. You actually want a whole range, or you want your art all over a whole range of products. You want to completely own the online world. You want your products to be bought around the world, and you want to impact as many people as possible. Now, I know that this might sound a little bit frightening at the beginning. It can all seem a bit daunting because you're going to say the number one thing is, yes, but Sophie, how am I going to achieve that? And what I want to say for you right now is I don't want you to think about the how. I don't want you to stop yourself building a vision for where you want to take your art business based on the fact that you're concerned about how you're going to get there. This heart's coming up. Yeah, absolutely. Because how many people are going to stop putting their dream on paper because they're absolutely concerned about, well, I don't know how to get there, therefore I can't write that vision down. So my task for you really today in doing this part of your business plan is I want you to take that kind of how, put it in a bag and box, and actually just put it off to the side. And right now, what I want you to think about is actually, if anything were possible, what would I want to see happen? If anything were possible, what do I want to create for my art business? And then I want you to go ahead and write it down. And I was laughing with some artists the other day as they were filling out their business plans, and some of them were writing it in pencil and the others were joking and laughing and saying, oh, you're not very committed to your vision if you're not writing it in pen. And I thought, that's very interesting, isn't it? How about you actually write it in pen, something you can't rub out, something you can't maybe, or you can always change it, of course, because there's always a point where perhaps our vision changes, maybe what we want to do grows bigger, who knows. But for right now, I'd love you to take a pen, a biro, an actual pen, and write down, where do you want to be? Where do you see this business in the future? Not worry about how you're going to get there. That's step number one. Step number two now is about this mission. And everyone says to me, yeah, but what is the mission? Well, when you look online and you Google lots of big companies, you see mission statements. And they can often seem a little bit daunting or confusing, or just you're thinking, well, how do I apply that to my art practice? So the way I look at mission is, and you're going to say, but wait a minute, Sophie, you said don't worry about the how. Is actually how you're going to get there. And the way I want you to write this is just a description. This is not a step-by-step how you're going to get there. So for example, let's take the example of somebody who wants to be, what did I say first, wants to be represented in 10 different galleries. So the mission might be to create a high-end, consistent product on a regular basis that could be got out to galleries. Because if your mission was to actually not create a high-end product, to get small things printed, and you were running at craft fairs, then you're not really heading towards being represented by 10 good galleries. So your mission would be around, okay, actually creating good quality, consistent product that you could get out to galleries. Let's do another one. Let's look at a workshop model. What happens if your big dream is to create a whole load of workshops that are fully booked, you're running them out of your studio space or you're running them out of a local space? What might the mission part of your artist business plan be about then? Then that might be about actually putting together a series of workshop topics that are perfect for your audience. So how are you going to get to the end goal? By running good quality workshops that my audience loves. Because without doing that, then of course you're not actually going to fulfill your vision. Someone's just said it's taken you 8 minutes to find me. That's a concern, isn't it? Okay, we're going to work on that, D. 8 minutes. Well done for getting here. That's brilliant. Okay, so part 3 of this. So we've talked about part 1, the big vision. How are you going to write down the vision? We've talked about number 2, the mission, by writing a couple of sentences that actually just describes what it is, what is your product, what is your service that's going to enable you to move towards the vision. It's not a step-by-step how you're going to get there, because chances are you don't know, and you want to leave yourself open to how that might happen. I've got a few people saying hi on the live. Hello, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you found me on this warm day and you're joining me live. That's wonderful. Don't forget, those of you that are watching the replay, #replay. Guys, if you want to write comments in there or questions, then please do so. Step number 3 now is the purpose. Now, for me, this is the single, I've said at the beginning, it's the most important part. It's why are you choosing to run an art business in the first place? Because maybe you're just happy plodding along as a hobby. Now, I've talked before about the difference between a hobby and a business. Let me remind you, for me, my distinction is very clear. A hobby is something that you put your money into, quite often, quite a lot. And a business is something that you can pull your money out of to live from. So in my book, I absolutely know where I stand. I'm not interested in having a hobby at this point in my life. I've had a art business before, and I've opened it up again, and that's where I'm going. So I'm very, very clear. I'm very clear on my vision. I'm very clear on my mission. Why am I doing it? Why are you doing it? Right? For me, there's 2 levels of the way you can answer this. Some people say to me, well, I'm doing it because I need to pay bills. And then I'm going to say to you, just listen to the language that you've used there. You need to pay your bills. That is not language that really is going to help you achieve your goals, because you're constantly going to be in that need. So we might say you could go and get a job at the local supermarket. That's going to pay your bills. That's not good enough as to really write down the purpose of why you're in business in the first place. Hello, Julie. You're the other side of the world. How wonderful. Lovely to have you with us today. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, okay, really what I'm saying is the purpose is actually, do you have a message to get out to the world? Do you want to get your art in front of a much larger audience? Now, for me, and with my art practice, you can see my empty studio that I talked about. For those of you joining now live, empty studio, all in a gallery. For me, my purpose for actually doing the art section of my business is about getting real, original art into more homes. All right, and I have nothing against IKEA, it serves a purpose, but I really want to educate more people to enable them to buy original art and see the value of buying original art. And I want to get my art, of course, into more homes. I'm passionate about the message that I am creating when I'm painting, and I want to get that in front of more people. So my question to you is, what is your purpose? Why are you doing what you want to do? And if you're going to answer it to pay the bills, that's not the purpose of your art business, okay? That's maybe needs to be putting aside. Now you might say, okay, but I want to make money at my art. That kind of be a bit of a purpose, but I want you to dig deeper. I want you to really think about what's underneath that kind of top level. I want to make money at my art. I want a successful business. I want success. Nothing wrong with that. I want to get my name out there. Nothing wrong with that. What about digging a bit deeper? As artists and creatives, we very often have something that we're saying, something that we're communicating through what we're doing. Now, whether we're doing that through sculpture, through metal, through mural painting, through small original part, through pottery. We've got lots of people on. I'm trying to look at the examples. Through dancing, through writing, we've all got something that we're communicating. We want to get more individual work into people's homes. Wouldn't it be lovely if people around the world started, instead of going to a local kind of giant department store to buy their home crockery, they started out looking for local artists and bought theirs instead. We want people to shop local, buy local, and we want to get original, beautiful products into people's homes. That's me, and you can probably hear I'm quite passionate about that. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead on that topic. But that's really, and that's the reason why people find it so difficult, because actually giving yourself permission to write down the true purpose of why you're doing something can be a bit challenging, can feel a bit frightening. So I'm going to want to ask you to feel the fear and do it anyway. What if anything could happen? What if you could create anything in this world? And by the way, I have the belief that you can. So therefore, these 3 things that we're just going to go over very quickly at the end. Part 1, I talked about the vision. Where do you see yourself in the future? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Where do you see this business? Number 2, the mission. What's the simple how are you going to get there? By creating products, by working, by building a team, might be by building a team of people that can help me because I know I can't do it on my own. That would be a mission. By creating a universal message that I'm going to push out to a global audience. So all of these kind of one or 2 sentences only for your mission. You can describe the vision in a little bit more detail, and the purpose again is likely to be 1 or 2 sentences. So this section of your business plan, folks, actually you can probably do in 15 minutes. So there's my challenge. If you haven't done it, get in there and do it today. Okay. So this is part 2, as I said at the beginning, of a 12-part video series. So those of you watching me live today, thank you so very much. Next week, we're talking all about research. That's the biggest reason why everyone just switches off. Like, I don't want to do research. I've got other things I want to do. There's a million reasons and excuses why people don't want to do the research. Unless you are one of those wonderful people who just loves to get sucked down the rabbit hole, and you love Googling things, and you love clicking on links, and you love doing research. In which case, this part of the plan will be so up your alley, and I'm going to give you a time limit on how much you're going to do it. So you basically got to tune back in for the live version, same time next week, for hear me talking about what are the key things, what are the key pieces of research you need to continue building your art business plan. Guys, if you're watching the replay and, you know, all 12 videos are already out, all you're going to have to do, a bit like Netflix, is just press the next button. How wonderful is that? It's all in the same playlist. If you've loved this video, please go ahead and share it out, because obviously I want to get the message out to a wider audience, and I'd love your help to do that. Please chat in the comments as well if you've got any questions. I'm always happy to come back and do that whenever you're watching. This is Sophie Mejia at the Artist Marketing Academy, wishing you a wonderful rest of your day and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye everybody.